What's up guys? In today's video, we are gonna be doing something a little bit different. If you don't know, before I got into Japanese cars, I was much into the American car scene, a lot of the muscle cars and everything, and I had a bunch of them. By far, one of my favorites was my 65 Rambler Marlin. I had it for quite a while and I never thought I was gonna sell it. But eventually, after taking it to a few car shows here and there, I had someone who was interested and offered me a price I couldn't turn down. I knew I was gonna be able to find one again, and after searching for about 3-4 years, I finally came across this one that I just picked up. My previous one was a much higher spec than this one. It was a 327 V8 console car AC. It was much nicer overall, and it was just too nice to mess up. This one that I just picked up, I'm finally gonna be able to do some things that I wanted to do the previous one. We're definitely gonna be lowering it, making some custom suspension, putting some bigger, nicer, more modern wheels on it. You guys will kind of see as I go along with it. It'll be a pretty mild project at first. My plans for this car is to do everything in steps. I usually don't like to have my cars down for too long a time. So what I'll do is I'll basically just take the car, I'm gonna make everything work right as is, make everything nice, clean it up. And then from there, we can do little things by either replacing or restoring them. In this video, you're gonna see that I'm gonna tear apart the entire interior. We're gonna be coating the floor and the roof with POR 15 and then a top coat on top of that, basically to stop any rust that was already there and stop any further rust from forming. This car is by no means perfect. It is not rust free, but it is a good candidate and all of the important stuff is there. If you take a look, a lot of the trim that's nearly impossible to find is there. I had to buy one thing, which was the hood ornament. That was very expensive. I think that was about $200 and some just for that thing. Luckily, I was able to find a remanufactured one. If you don't know, this car is very rare, but not very desirable. So they don't make a ton of parts for this thing. And if you can find them, they are pretty expensive. First thing we did was we pulled out all of the seats, and of course underneath it we found tons and tons of rat feces and rat nests, and everything was really nasty and really stinky, and definitely a major cause to why the car smelled so bad. So obviously after eradicating that, we from there took off these weird seat covers that were really good seat covers that were like hog ringed on like properly, but right on top of the old seat covers. So thankfully for me, it's basically preserving what I want to keep. There's just the driver's side that was still pretty messed up and we're gonna have to get repaired in the future. While we had all of the trim pieces off, I figured I would go ahead and try and restore them to the best of my abilities. I tried to take the least aggressive approach as possible depending on how bad the rust was on the trim. So the stuff that wasn't that bad pretty much got a 00 or 000 steel wool first to get rid of any of the loose particles. It basically gets rid of all of the discoloration, it shines the whole thing up, but the pieces still are gonna have some pitting. Some of the pieces that were a little bit worse, I did wire wheel them first. It got rid of pretty much everything. From there, we used some steel wool and then polished it up. I would say for the most part, it turned out really, really well, and everything is about as good as I could have asked for. After taking care of a lot of the trim, I wanted to try and do the mirror. The mirror had some stickers on it and it made it kind of pit and corrode in a weird way, and I tried sanding a lot of it away to kind of smooth it over. It doesn't look great, but it's better than it was, and it's something I can live with until I either find a remanufactured one or a OEM one that's in better condition. I didn't film any of the POR treatment, but it's a pretty long process. Basically, as long as you do it right, it's gonna last forever. I understand that this is on the inside, not on the outside, but just it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you might as well do this to prevent it in the future and also make it all look nice and neat. Basically, I just wire wheeled and prepped all of the surfaces that I was gonna be painting. From there, you degrease it, use a chemical that just etches the raw metal or whatever. It's very close to the same thing that I actually wash or clean my Miata with. And then from there, you use the POR 15, which is permanent, so long as it doesn't get hit with UV rays, I believe. I went ahead and just got a top coat just because I figured if I'm gonna be doing all this, you might as well just do the top coat anyways. So it's a chassis black or something like that. So it's basically just a satin black over it, and it looks pretty good. And it is a permanent coating, supposedly, so long as you do it correctly. And I did take my time and I did it pretty good. And we got a good thick layer all over everything. So now that we have the trunk, the floor pan, and the ceiling of the car all coated, we can go ahead and wait for a few pieces to come back, and then we can start throwing everything back in. I did get new carpet, and I got some extra carpet to be doing some other pieces in there, and we're gonna have to go to the upholstery shop and basically get a few pieces done, and then we can put everything back in the car. But until that is done, we're gonna have to be kind of at a standstill with this car for now. After we throw that interior together, I'm pretty much gonna do whatever's necessary to make it run and drive well, and then from there, we'll see what happens. You guys will just have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's a little bit different from my usual content. This is kind of being put out there for the boomers and for myself. In the future, I like to go back and see some of the stuff that I did, and I know I enjoy watching that myself. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and peace out.